Hey guys, my name's Daniel Lindahl, and I'm going to do another video on disc golf form. And this one's all about timing and the idea behind slow is smooth, smooth is far. If you've heard that phrase before, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the idea that a lot of people, when they go to throw, they run through their shot and then try and throw it, which is it feels like a lot of power because you feel like you're getting your momentum behind it. But that's not the idea. The idea is you want to get your weight on your back foot, and then timing everything correctly, you'll transfer the energy into your disc, coming from your legs and your hips and your shoulders and your arms that I'm going to talk about later. First, as an example, I'm going to give you an example of my throw, and I want you to pay attention to how slow it is until the hit, because I see a lot of people throw and they're running through it, and it's really hard to get timing correct if you're doing that. And the disc golf throw is all about timing. It's not all about muscle. I think I saw somewhere Simon Lizotte can only do like 20 push-ups, so he's not a very muscular guy, and he holds the world record. So apparently I need to do less push-ups to throw farther. So this is an example of my shot. Just pay attention to how slow it is. Now I do not have perfect form. I do not claim to have that. I can throw maybe 400 feet. I probably can pretty consistently 400 feet, but I do not have perfect form. But this is just an example of a slow shot rather than a running through your shot, okay? Here we go. Okay, so that was my shot, and I'm going to talk about working from the shot. Last time I talked about you starting from way back here rather than reaching back early and then sticking your leg out, but talking about timing your foot with your leg at the same time and then doing your throw. Now I'm going to talk about everything that happens between here and a lot of the mistakes I see people make. Okay, I'm not going to call anybody out besides my brother because I have license to pick on him, but this is just a lot of mistakes I see people make. When you're doing your shot, the timing is essentially from the ground up. Okay, you want to start with your feet. Like I said, you're here and you're trying to throw it. The first thing I do with my shot is I put my foot down. I go from here to get the most reach, and then I put my foot down sideways. Okay, and this is to brace against the front shot, and it kind of starts getting your legs into the shot. That's the very first thing I do. Okay, after that, I start my hips. And once my hips are going, that kind of whips everything else around, but you don't want to let it whip. You want to be a very controlled whip, if that makes sense at all. Okay, so then your hips go. Now, a lot of the thing that I see people doing, and it really hurts accuracy, is they turn their hips too early. And it goes a lot with running through your shot. I used to do this a long time ago. As you run up to your shot, and you turn around like this, and then you try and throw. And generally, if you turn early, you'll be reaching back early too. But you turn all the way around and like take a step backwards and then try and throw. And what this does is it messes up with your accuracy a ton. Will Schustreich says he lines up on the tee pad. He talks about this in a clinic he does with infinite discs. He lines up his hips and his shoulders with where he wants to go, which I will do if it's a tight shot. Normally I'll just start out facing the hole. But if I actually absolutely have to hit a line, you start out with your hips and your shoulders pointing where you want to go, okay? Then you take your first step. It's pretty straight. You don't want to take your hips and shoulders offline, okay? And your X step, and only when you start your reach back do your hips come offline. And then they just snap right back. It's almost like cocking a gun and firing it right away. You don't cock a gun and then stick it in your holster and then pull it out later and shoot it. So when you're cocking a gun, I don't know, in cowboy movies, I don't know if guns even cock anymore. It's been a while. Anyway, when you're taking that last step, you want to cock your hips and your shoulders and then fire it. You don't want to cock it early and then stick it in your back pocket and pull it out later and then try and shoot. That won't work out. Okay, so that's hips going early. I've never seen an example of hips going late. I've seen hips not being used at all, and that's people who just get up and then throw, and that doesn't, I mean, you got to use your hips in your throw. And if you slow down, you'll be able to feel when you need to do your hips, okay? I'm going to talk about shoulders. When you're timing your shoulders, you want to have your arm and your shoulder never be past or longer than 90 degrees. I mean, obviously it can't be exactly 90 degrees, but you want to get as close as you can. If you ever watch Paul Macbeth throw, he's always right here at 90 degrees. Sometimes he'll finish his shot and he'll follow through and he'll still be 90 degrees. And that has everything to do with timing your shoulder and your arm, because we've got feet and hips down. You want to time your shoulder and your arm. So when you're all the way back here if you time your shoulders late, and like I like to do, I used to like to do, you reach way back and you try and throw it with your arm. You try and throw it with your tricep and your shoulder here, and you try and throw it with all that. What's going to happen is your arm's going to come through, and your shoulders will just kind of follow suit. And what will happen there is you don't get any power out of your shoulders, which is, they are a big mover. They are a big source of power in your disc golf throw. So you reach way back here and you throw it like this, you're just not getting any power. It's not exactly bad for accuracy or anything like that. It's just no power, okay? The other thing I see is people timing their shoulders early. Reach back and then they try and throw it with their shoulders, and they're not rounding when they reach back, but as soon as they time their shoulders, that pulls the disc kind of over here, and they whip it around like that. And it feels like a very powerful throw because you feel like, man, I'm using my core, I'm using everything to throw. But it's like using your core and then throwing with one of those ribbon things that dancers dance with, and it's just not going anywhere. So you have to time your shoulders and your arms correctly. So you reach way back here, you time your shoulders first, okay, and you bring the disc in front of you, okay. You don't want to time them early. I don't know how to not time them early. I don't know how to explain that. Don't time them early. Besides that, but you bring the disc in front of here. I guess 90 degrees will help with timing early. You bring the disc in front of here, and here is where you activate your arm. Because if you activate your arm from way back here, like I said, you're gonna throw it like that, and you're not gonna get any distance. You want to time your arm when your shoulder's at 90 degrees, and then you time your arm and your shoulders are working together, and it just rips out of your hand, and it goes so far. And that's the way to use everything together. Now we'll talk about where your weight should be in regards to everything. Okay. The only time your weight should be on the heels of your shot is on your follow through or your plant foot or when you're hitting. Okay. Every other time your weight should be on your toes. So when you're running up and you're on your X step, your weight should be on your toes. And what that does is not only is it a more athletic stance, a more balanced stance, and it's easier to get timing correct, is it prevents you from rounding. Because if your weight's on your heels, you can reach back over here, you can reach way up here, you can reach anywhere, and there's no bearing. But if your weight's over on your toes and you're balanced like this, you can reach straight back, but as soon as you reach over, your weight goes forward. And your left leg is going to get worn out and you won't be able to stand up, and it'll throw all your balance off. So you want to keep your weight on your toes. That'll help you reach straight back. And then on your follow through, that's when you want to go from toes and brace against your front leg here, and that'll spin on your heel, and then you'll come up. So that's on your toes. What else did I have to talk about? I think I got it all. You don't want to do your hips early. Yeah, that's my entire thing. Oh, drills you can do to help. Slow down. In your shot, imagine somebody's taking a slow-mo video of you with a regular video camera. So you're doing your shot, and you start it out, and then you slow motion. You should be able to not lose balance the entire time doing that. I know lots of people rely on their forward momentum to hold their balance, and that won't lead you the best distance. That won't be the most balanced. That won't be anything. So if you can stay on your toes and you can slow it down, you should be balanced your entire throw. Another thing is you can stop. At any point between here and here, you should be able to stop. And if you stop right here and you realize your arms aren't 90 degrees, there's a problem. You bring the disc a little bit closer. Or if you stop here and you realize arms not 90 degrees, or if you stop right here and you realize your hips are pointed way too far back. Something like that. You can self-test, or another good thing to do is to take a video of yourself and do slow motion, compare it to the pros, or post it on the online forums, and we can laugh at you or critique your form, depending on the person. That's really all I have to talk about. I'm not sure if I'll make another video. This is just kind of quick and dirty what I'm thinking about, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any advice for my videos, or if you have any questions about what I'm talking about. Just hit me up. Thanks for watching.